So several months back, Activision was in some real hot water, and it turns out there has been a culture of sexual harassment, and from what I could see, I haven't looked into this beyond like the YouTube videos that I've seen, but like seems like there were like a couple of full-on rapes and shit where Activision leadership were they just had free reign over everything. So for anybody that doesn't know what happened here, so this is from July, right? Very end of July. And the end of this story, well, the end of it that we know so far just happened like yesterday, and it is bonkers. So to give you a brief recap of what's going to happen in this video here, we're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to skip around a little bit. So first of all, this part where he reads out, this is part of the lawsuit of employees against Activision here. This is part of the lawsuit here. In blatant example of defendant's refusal to deal with a harasser because of his seniority and position, Alex Afrasiabi, the former senior creative director of World of Warcraft at Blizzard, was permitted to engage in blatant sexual harassment with little to no repercussions. During a company event, an annual convention called BlizzCon, Afrasiabi would hit on female employees, telling him he wanted to marry them, attempting to kiss them, and putting his arms around them. This was in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors, who had to intervene to pull him off female employees. Can you imagine like your subordinates having to rein you in? Afrasiabi was so known to engage in harassment of females that his hotel suite at BlizzCon was nicknamed they misspelled it here. They nicknamed it the Cosby Suite after alleged rapist Bill Cosby. And if we skip ahead here, he was so proud of this that they even took like these pictures inside the Cosby Suite. And these are all like people that are really high up with Activision Blizzard, people at some of the biggest game studios. So we got people from Blizzard, ZeniMax Online, Riot Games, Deviation Games, Bonfire Studios, all that stuff. All like basically like his hotel suite, they all were in on it. Like basically the entire point of it is they loaded this place up with alcohol and all sorts of shit, and they would invite who they thought the hottest employees were up and try to get them to do the nasty with them or something. And so like here's all the alcohol, all that kind of stuff there, and here's the text messages here. Check this out. Let me not do that because it's my camera's covering this up. So this is sometimes criminals are just super fucking dumb, you know. So Alex Afrasiabi, this is from his Facebook. He was advertising this, like gloating about this. They had a closed DM group called the BlizzCon Cosby Crew. These are all people that are like well known in the game industry. I'm gathering the hot chicks for the cause. Alex says, bring them. Greg, you on the way? You can't marry all of them, Alex. Oh, I can. I'm Middle Eastern. And then they're all like saying like, all right, we're here. Come up to the cause. Like it's nuts. And then let me get to some of the other real big highlights here. That's mostly it there, but let's go forward in time here. I wonder if I can see here. Wall Street Journal, Activision. So this is the Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick knew for years about the sexual misconduct allegations at the video game giant. This was a huge story behind a paywall. I wonder if we can get through some of this here. The way I found out about a lot of this, honestly, because I had no clue any of this was going on. I knew Activision was just a shitty company, but I didn't know until I was actually watching Charlie's video, Moist Critical. I guess it's not going to let me. How do you? Okay, hold on. Get past Wall Street Journal paywall. Let's see here. Incognito mode didn't work. Switch up your browser. Blah blah blah. Trying to see. Like I thought there was like the Wayback Machine. It's a good idea. See if the Wayback Machine will get us through. All right. Son of a bitch. All right. We'll just pull up the video here that he was doing, and we'll just pause on the what the fuck? Oh, because I'm in incognito mode. That's why. Because I've got premium.
I think at this point it's safe to say Activision Blizzard is the most evil supervisor after...
Okay, so this is part of the Wall Street Journal article here. It was on somebody else's video. It's on that Yang Ye's channel. A lawyer for a former employee at Sledgehammer Games, an Activision-owned studio, alleged in the email that her client had been raped in 2016 and 2017 by her male supervisors after she had been pressured to consume too much alcohol in the office and at work events. The female employee reported the incidents to Sledgehammer's Human Resources Department and other supervisors, but nothing happened, according to the email, which threatened a lawsuit against the company. Within months of receiving the email, said people familiar with the situation, Activision reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman, who also had reported one of the incidents to the police. Mr. Kotick didn't... This is a crucial part of this right here. Mr. Kotick did not inform the company's board of directors about the alleged rapes or the settlement, said people with knowledge of the board. So with that in mind, we can go back, but this is Activision Blizzard's board of directors, their statement. As bad as you think this is, and as public this knowledge has become, just without knowing anything that happened here, or if you don't know what happened here in this statement, you clear your mind. Just imagine what you think the response should be, and then let's dive into this. This is from the Activision board of directors. The Activision Blizzard board remains committed to the goal of making Activision Blizzard the most welcoming and inclusive company in the industry. Platitudes, whatever. Under Bobby Kotick's leadership, the company is already implementing industry-leading changes, including a zero-tolerance harassment policy, as if that's some kind of groundbreaking thing. Zero-tolerance harassment policy, a dedication to achieving a significant increases to the percentages of women and non-binary people in our workforce, and significant internal and external investments to accelerate opportunities for diverse talent. Like, it just doesn't, like, what? This is the clincher here. The board remains confident that Bobby Kotick appropriately addressed workplace issues brought to his attention. The goals we have set for ourselves are both critical and ambitious. The board remains confident in Bobby Kotick's leadership, commitment, and ability to achieve these goals. Completely insane. Keep in mind, Bobby Kotick was caught a few years back basically talking about how he wanted to have some female assistant killed or something, and who knows if he was being tongue-in-cheek. It shouldn't matter because he's the fucking CEO. There's some things you just can't joke about once you reach a position like that. Let me get to... Yeah, so I haven't actually followed this in a few days. I want to see what happened to their stock price here. Let's see, 5 days. Okay, so here's before it happened. They're at $72, and they just keep plummeting and plummeting. And I don't know what the result was, but Activision employees staged a walkout, basically saying, fuck this company until Bobby Kotick is out. So it calls for Bobby Kotick's resignations, intensify as employees stage a walkout. 150 Activision Blizzard staff stage a walkout following the bombshell report. Let's take a look here. The embattled boss of the video game company Activision Blizzard is facing a shareholder rebellion one day after employees staged a walkout to protest about the company's response to sexual misconduct allegations at the firm. It's absolutely incredible to me that he is still technically the CEO of that company, because at this point, once your shareholders, all of them, have turned against you, you have no mandate to lead, right? Every shareholder is entitled to a vote during company decisions. In contrast to past company statements, CEO Bobby Kotick was aware of many incidents of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and gender discrimination at Activision Blizzard, but failed either to ensure that the executives and managers responsible were terminated, or to recognize and address the systemic nature of the company's hostile workplace culture. A group of shareholders led by Strategic Organizing Center, SOC Investment Group, and holding a total of 4.8 million shares, wrote in a letter shared on Wednesday with the Washington Post. So that's a significant chunk of shares. How many shares outstanding do they have? ATVI shares outstanding. So they have 779 million shares outstanding. So they have 4.8 million shares. It's a good chunk. It's definitely not a majority holding, but allegations against the company's leadership center on its alleged failure to take action over an email the company received in July of 2018, in which a former employee at Sledgehammer Games, an Activision-owned studio, alleged that her client had been raped by her male supervisor in 2016 and 2017 after being induced to consume alcohol at work and at work-related events. And one really important thing to bear in mind here, some people will probably try and make the argument, if it's that hostile, if it happened once, why didn't you quit? Why didn't you leave? And why should she have to? It's no human being should have to feel like they are unsafe in their work environment. By law, they shouldn't have to feel that way. And then another angle to this too, to keep in mind, you're working at Activision. Anybody that grows up loving video games where it's your dream, it's your passion, and you end up at Activision, which is one of the top dogs in the video game industry, what would you be willing to put up with to stay and be able to live your dream? And like, how much would your brain try and rationalize certain things? And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's the same situation as the whole Weinstein shit, where he was taking advantage of women that were pursuing their dreams. And when you are in that, when there's that much of an imbalance of power, it's a victim will probably try and find every kind of way to, they want to continue the path that they have set forward. And you don't want to let these guys win, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. Somebody could probably be a lot more eloquent than I am about that kind of stuff. It's obviously not right. But the company is currently, I forgot about this too. The company is currently being investigated by the SEC into how it handled reports of misconduct, and the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit over the summer alleging numerous complaints of harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. Retaliation, that's a big one, had been ignored by the company. So basically, all right, new intern, you can come work for us, and it's probably not a safe environment. You're probably going to get sexually harassed. And if you tell anybody, our position is not to keep you safe, it's to protect the people that are making us money. Oh, God. Rejecting the characterization that Activision is dominated by a frat boy culture, Kotick said, "I am very committed to making sure we have the most welcoming, most inclusive workplace in the industry." Those are words that came out of his mouth, written by lawyers. But Wednesday's shareholder letter warned that if Kotick, Kelly, and Morgado refused to step down, so a couple of guys that are wrapped up in this, activists would refuse to vote for the re-elections of the board next year. After the new revelations, it's clear that the current leadership repeatedly failed to uphold a safe workplace, a basic function of their job, the SOC executive director said in an interview with the Post. SOC holds a small fraction of Activision's roughly 779 million shares, there it is, with investment giants Vanguard holding 64 and BlackRock owning 58. Fucking BlackRock and Vanguard, man. You have to have a clear governance failure, he told the Post, and now we believe we can point to not only an overpaid CEO, this guy makes so much money, so much goddamn money, but we have very clear implications for recruiting talent at the company and potential legal ramifications with regulators like the California Agency and Security and Exchange Commission. That's an indication that something went very wrong. Kotick, 58, is one of the highest paid chief executives of a U.S. public company, with a pay package valued at $154 million in 2020. After reports of sexual harassment surfaced, Kotick said he would ask the board to cut his compensation to $62,500. And I gotta say, like, cutting his compensation down to $62,000, that means nothing to somebody that's making that much. Because another thing to keep in mind too is most of the CEOs, especially the CEOs of really big companies like this, they are not paid. Their compensation is not really in liquid cash. It's in stock. And when you own stock, you basically get to make way more money because it's not taxed. You only get taxed on your stock when you cash it out. And then you're taxed on the increase for when you bought in. And so it's just this never-ending revolving door where, you know, and these millionaires and billionaires, the way they keep their wealth is they take out loans using their stock as collateral. And so if all of your cash that you are using to fund your extravagant lifestyle is all money from loans, that's not money that's yours. Therefore, it's not income to the tax authorities. And therefore that's how these ultra rich, ultra wealthy people skate on by without paying any tax. And it's just one of many ways, but it's crazy how it works out that way. But yeah, that's what's going on with that shit. Anyway, let's see if there's anything new on this. Let's just check the news tab here. Looks like that is the latest on it here. Let me just do Bobby Kotick. 1,000 Activision Blizzard employees petition to remove CEO Bobby Kotick. I wonder how many employees there are. Like 1,000 out of how many? Over 1,000 employees and contractors. Boy, this website's font game is ass. 1,000 employees and contractors at Activision Blizzard have now signed and published a petition to remove CEO Bobby Kotick from the company, doubling the number of signatures since the petition was made public. We, the undersigned, no longer have confidence in the leadership of Bobby Kotick as CEO of Activision Blizzard. The information that has come to light about the behaviors and practices and running of our companies runs counter to the culture and integrity we require of our leadership. That's very well worded. And directly conflicts with the initiatives started by our peers. We ask that Bobby Kotick remove himself as CEO of Activision Blizzard and that the shareholders be allowed to select the new CEO without the input of Bobby, who we are aware owns a substantial portion of the voting rights in the shareholders. In a surprising move, the petition goes on to list the names, titles, and departments of the workers, which could potentially expose the signatories to retaliation. Nobody, man, that's the worst thing too. Like, you should never be afraid of retaliation. Petition comes days after a bombshell report alleging Kotick knew about, enabled, and even participated in a culture of misconduct and harassment that has drawn the attention of government authorities. In response, the company's board of directors issued a statement saying that it would continue to support Kotick. We already went over that. Amazing. Whoa. Disclosure. Casey Wasserman is on the board of directors for Activision Blizzard as well as the board of directors for Vox Media, Verge's parent company. Okay. All right. Never mind. I thought that I was about to say like, whoever wrote the article was involved somehow. I was like, ooh. All right. Short stream tonight. I just want to play a little bit of Halo. Hang out with y'all for a little bit. I am going to... I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably lie on my bed for a little bit. Sober up a little bit.